You want control? Start with what you lose first. Most men never lose battles. They lose to what they couldn't master inside.
Some nights are heavier than others. You've rebuilt everything, and yet the silence still hits. I write to breathe, not to teach. Maybe this isn't advice. Maybe it's just a mirror. And if it shows you a crack, maybe that's where you begin. Someone once asked me, "Have you ever lost someone just because you spoke too honestly?" I smiled, because I've lost more than that. Not because I lied, but because I was right, in the coldest way. I was 30 when she left. Our marriage felt like an old raincoat, torn just enough to fall apart in a storm. My startup was bleeding money, but I told no one. I just spoke to look strong, spoke to survive. That night, I was tired. She asked, "What's wrong?" I answered without thinking, "If you can't understand me, then forget it. I'm tired." Just one sentence. She didn't argue, didn't cry. She simply walked out and left a note. "You're right, but I can't live with the way you're right." I told myself I didn't yell. I didn't insult her. I thought I was calm, but truth is, I was sharp, like a freshly honed knife. A few days later, I spoke to Kai, told him the story, half joking, half mad. He just asked one thing: did you speak to be understood, or just to unload? That question cracked something inside me. For the first time, I realized my voice wasn't strength, it was a shield. From that day, I relearned how to speak. If I'm hurting, I write. If I'm angry, I walk. If I need to heal, I breathe in silence. I used to fear being misunderstood. Now I fear betraying my peace just to be loud. A friend once asked, "Aren't you afraid people will think you're weak if you say nothing?" I looked at him and said, "I'm not weak. I'm just done bleeding through every word I speak." And here's the part I never told anyone. The night she left, I sat alone on the balcony. Didn't cry, didn't call. But I could hear my heart screaming like a crowd inside my chest. That's when I understood. Silence isn't strength by itself. It becomes strength when you learn when to speak and when to let your light answer for you. Words aren't wrong, but the way we use them can kill someone trying to love us. There's something I didn't admit for a long time. The world didn't make me lose. The voice in my own head surrendered first. Funny thing is, I never truly failed. I just stopped trying because a quiet voice whispered, "Give up. You're not the one for this." That voice wasn't anyone else's. It was made from childhood doubt, rejection, and fears I never learned how to name. There were days I woke up and felt like my life had already been driven without me. No hands on the wheel, no map. Just a restless mind pretending to be in control. And here's the irony. I thought I was a deep thinker, but in truth, I was just really good at overthinking. Kai once said, "Not everyone who thinks a lot is wise. Sometimes they just haven't learned to clean their mind." At first, I pushed back. My brain's always running. Why would I slow it down? But then I saw it. I wasn't thinking to move forward. I was thinking to stay stuck, just more creatively. That's when I started watching my mind like a stranger. When fear spoke, I asked, "Is this a warning or a leftover echo?" When stories appeared, I paused. Is this based on truth or just trauma dressed in logic? And when I felt the urge to quit, I asked the one question that pulled me back every time. If I don't believe in me, who else will? I stopped waking up to news, stopped checking my phone every 10 minutes, started journaling, not to be inspired, but to dump mental trash that had collected while I slept. And somehow, as my mind got quieter, I began to hear something real, not ego, not fear, something softer, but stronger. It said, "You don't need to win. You just need to stop abandoning yourself." Here's something I've never said out loud. During the first few years of rebuilding my life, I didn't read any more philosophy. I just practiced quieting the chaos inside. Not fighting every thought, not believing them all either, just letting them pass, like wind across a still lake. And that is when I started to feel free again. You can control everything outside, but if you haven't mastered your own mind, you're still serving voices that don't belong to you. And you know what's truly dangerous? Living a life you didn't choose because you believed a single thought too early. You can light candles, read books, repeat mantras, but if the war inside your head still wins, you're not healing. You're just decorating the battlefield. I once lost control over a cup of coffee. The waitress brought the wrong order. I had just walked out of a failed meeting. My bank app flashed negative, and boom, I snapped. I didn't shout, but the way I looked at her, sharp, cold, enough to ruin someone's day. She froze. I turned away, felt like I handled it like a man. Hours later, stuck at a red light, her face came back to me. Not the mistake, just her eyes. That's when I realized I wasn't mad about the coffee. I was mad at life, at myself. And instead of facing that pain, I threw it at the first person who wouldn't throw it back. So I asked myself, how many times had I punished the innocent because I never named my wound? 3 years later, I went back to that cafe. New waitress, same mistake. But this time, I carried silence that had been sharpened. She apologized. I smiled. "It's okay. Can we just switch it?" She nodded, grateful. And me? I didn't even feel a ripple. Kai once said, "If you can't control your mood, you're still being driven by ghosts you never buried." I didn't argue. From then on, I stopped trying to fight anger. I started listening to it. Sometimes what we call temper is just old pain in a new costume. So I gave my emotions names. Not "I'm pissed," but "I feel unseen." Not "they disrespected me," but "I feel unworthy." And oddly, that gave me space to choose. Not react, rebuild. There was a day I almost slammed my hand on the table. Instead, I wrote down 3 lines, walked outside for 10 minutes, and came back like nothing happened. The meeting ended with a signed deal, one that would have gone up in flames if I had let my mood set the match. I'm not calm because I'm soft. I'm calm because I've tasted chaos, and I won't let it choose for me again. Emotions are wind, but you're the sail, and no storm decides where you anchor, unless you let it. People say, "That's just how I am. I've always had a temper." No, that's just how long you've lived without healing what started it. And if you want to know what strength really looks like, don't watch the loudest man in the room. Watch the one who breathes and doesn't burn it all down. Because a man who controls his mood was once a man who didn't, and chose never to go back. I don't need the world to calm down. I just need to stop letting my storm become someone else's weather. There were times I spent money, not to live, but to escape my own life. Have you ever bought something not because you needed it, but because it helped quiet something inside you? I used to think I had no issues with money. I didn't gamble, didn't chase luxury brands or flashy cars. I thought I was in control, until one afternoon. I looked at my bank statement and felt a chill in my chest. Those tiny transactions, they read like a diary of unspoken pain. That day, I spent 3 times my usual. Nothing extravagant, just 3 cups of coffee. Didn't even finish one. 2 fancy notebooks, never wrote a word. Some tech gadgets, still sealed in the box. Why? I was exhausted. I felt like a failure. And I just wanted to breathe easier. Every checkout felt like I was soothing a crying child in the corner. And that child was me. I told Kai. He didn't judge me. He just asked, "Are you spending to expand your life or to escape from it?" That question turned my statement into a mirror. I saw it clearly. When I was under pressure, I ordered more food. After every fight with my ex, I booked a random trip. Whenever someone else succeeded, I bought something shiny just to feel like I was moving too. Money doesn't lie. It records the emotions we haven't named yet. Since that day, I've asked myself one question before every purchase. Is this healing me or helping me forget the wound? I'm not frugal now. I still eat well, still travel, still invest in growth. But I stopped buying things I never truly wanted. And strangely, as I made that shift, money began to return. Not fast, but steady. As if the universe whispered, "This one finally understands." Today, I no longer crave to get rich quickly. I crave one thing only: clarity. Clarity so I'll never again use money as a bandage for a wound I haven't even dared to face. No amount of money can heal the bleeding from the parts of you that remain unseen. Control was never a moment of triumph. It was the quiet choice I made. Each time the past came knocking with familiar claws, and I chose again and again, until one day, it didn't feel like a choice anymore. It felt like me. But even then, I knew there was one room in me still locked. It wasn't my words, not my thoughts, not even my money. It was something softer, but deeper. A part of me I buried with a whisper. I'll never touch that again. If this made you pause, don't let that moment go. Subscribe, not for me, but for the man inside you who's finally ready to rise. This story isn't over. It's just the chapter I dared to share today. And next time, I'll tell you what happened the day I saw her again and didn't fall apart.
I didn't lose control all at once. I gave it away every time I betrayed my peace. Now I walk alone. Not because they left, but because I finally stayed with me.